Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. It's really nice to have you all with me again this afternoon. Let me just change this angle a little bit. So thank you for joining. Just make sure you're comfortable. Before we start the yoga class, make sure you've got all of the bits that you usually, use. So you might bring, like a small block. And if you don't have a block, then something like, something like a small book that you can sit on. If you like to keep warm, have some socks close by. You might keep your socks on for the whole of the practice, and then maybe a blanket or something like that, because we'll do a nice bit of relaxation towards the end today, or right at the end of the class. And that's always nice to kind of do as well, where you just keep yourself warm and you're not fidgeting around at the end of the class. One of the hardest poses is Shavasana, which is the final resting posture. And we say it's the hardest pose because we have this tendency to kind of like move around a little bit and, I need to grab my blanket, or I need to put my socks on. So make sure you've got everything that you need. And then we'll have a nice rounded practice today. Last week we did a yin practice, which was very slow, and we held the poses for a little bit longer. And today we'll raise the energy up a little bit, and we'll probably bring in some dynamic postures today, which is kind of where you're using the breath a little bit more and you're moving in and out of the postures a little bit more. So always kind of use your breath as a guide. If you find that your breath gets choppy and labored, or if you feel like you begin to hold on to the breath, then just back out a little bit, because some of these will be a little bit more powerful, but they're very accessible. And the idea today here is just to raise the energy up a little bit. It's November. We've got this kind of like looming Christmas thing coming up, and probably our energies feel a little bit kind of like waning and a little bit low at the moment. So this is going to cut through all of that, and it's going to hopefully raise your energy up, and it's going to set you up for the next few days. That's a big sales thing, isn't it? It's going to set you up for the next few days. But what yoga does, apart from it being a really beautiful physical practice, it kind of gets us out of our subconscious, out of our kind of unconscious mind, where the mind is kind of a little bit crazy and active, and we get really attached to the thoughts. So what yoga does, it takes us out of that, and it's kind of like what we're trying to do is we're trying to raise our consciousness. And I grin, because it's like when people hear things like, oh, you've got to raise your consciousness. Just think of it as being like spiritual or emotional wellness. So getting out of here and getting into here. So we get out of here. And when I say get into here, probably get right into the heart center, because underneath all the whirlpooling of the mind, they say in yoga, it's the chitta vrittis, that's kind of the whirlpooling of the mind. Once we get out of that, then we can connect here. And here, it's really peaceful. Here, it can be a little bit, whoa, what's going on? Here, it's always peaceful. So it's like when we see like a turbulent sky, underneath it all, it's always blue. So the heart is always at peace, and you can always come back to it here. Just takes practice, And we do that by moving the breath, moving the body, having some beautiful relaxation. And we'll do that over the next 45 minutes. So we probably should get started, shouldn't we? I'm going to come back onto my mat. I'm going to make a couple of adjustments with the camera. And then let's all meet in child's pose. So this is the pose we come to time and time again. And the way that we come into this is come onto all fours. And then just sit back on your heels if you can. So you're in this position here, and then you get this nice passive stretch through the ankles. So we're just sitting. When I first started doing a physical yoga practice, this position was impossible for me. I couldn't sit like this because my ankles were so tight. So every single day we see progression, nice passive stretch through the tops of the feet, and a nice passive stretch through the ankles. If you're in that situation, like I was a few years ago, and just bring the hands forward and just ease the sit bones back. And then what we'll all do together is we're going to walk the hands forward nice and slowly, and then we're going to bring the forehead all the way down onto the floor. Now, if your forehead kind of naturally floats and it's hard for the forehead to come down, do this, so grab your book or your block and place the forehead on the book or block. If you feel you still need to go a little bit higher, make big fists, and then stack the fists on top of each other, and then you can rest in your child's pose here. Wherever you found yourself, begin to breathe nice and deeply. So we're thinking here about lengthening out through the spine. And we just begin to check in with the breath.
Just melting the belly and the heart center down towards the floor. And then if you've kept your child's pose quite static, feel free just to move around a little bit. So you might come right up onto the fingertips and then begin to rock the hips from side to side. Whatever feels good for you. Little bits of movement here can really help us embody the physical part of us. You know, we become fully embodied and we start to pay attention. So hopefully the attention goes off the mind and it comes right onto the physical body, or the breath, or both of those things together. If you were like me and you had your fingertips right up and you were pressing right into the fingertips, flatten the palms down onto the floor and then press yourself all the way up to this tabletop position. And then stack the knees just right underneath the hips. So here's your tabletop. The hands are nice and spread. Then step the right foot back and press into the right toes. Nice. And then from here, maybe just begin to make little circles with the hip. You know, so you begin to rotate out through the ankle, all the way up through the leg. Breathing it out here. Maybe flexing the foot backwards and forwards, whatever works for you. And then just lift the foot up and then just do some little circles. So you feel this movement all the way from the hip joint. Be nice and gentle, especially if you're working with any injuries. You know, I'm always encourage people to work within their, I was going to say limitations, but it's not really a limitation. It's about your unique body. So you come into your unique form of each pose. There's no right and wrong. As long as you're not hurting yourself, that's the only rule. Nice. And then from here, just bring that right knee down and then we'll swap it out. So press into the left toes. Maybe feel this stretch all the way into the left foot. Feel this activation here. Nice. And then maybe lift up the leg and just give it a little rotation. Maybe flex the toes backwards and forwards. You know, we're already beginning to kind of connect here right at the navel center. And finding a little bit of balance. Nice. And then slowly bring both knees so they're stacked right underneath the hips. You've got this right angle, knees and then hips. And then from here, what we're going to do, we're going to do puppy pose or melting heart pose. You're going to walk the hands forward nice and slowly. Keep the hips and the knees in line. So there's this right angle. And then bring the forehead, or if you're very flexible, you can bring the heart center down towards the floor. So you might be on the chin. I prefer to come onto my forehead because that's the right for me today. And then your arms are activated. So try and avoid this where you bring the arms down, really stretch out through the arms and then push the sit bones back towards the back of your mat, but they're still remaining above the knees. And then stretch the heart center forward. Feel this beautiful stretch into the shoulders. Breathe deeply here. Maybe you begin to drop down. If you feel very tight in the shoulders, just walk the hands like this a little bit wider. So experiment. See what works for you. We sometimes come into the pose and we're like, oh no, that isn't right. So don't push through any of that pain. There shouldn't be any pain. Beautiful. From here, you're going to flatten the palms down onto the floor. Sorry, the forearms down onto the floor and the palms. And then just ripple forward and then come into your Sphinx pose. I'm just going to move some of this stuff out of the way and make any adjustments. So in Sphinx, this is a compression into the lumbar spine, the lower spine. Make sure that the elbows are stacked right underneath the shoulders, spread out through the fingers, and your feet are about hip width apart. Nice. So it's not the most strongest pose that we come into, but we want to be feeling a degree of stretch here. And then breathe deeply. Maybe for the first time, you just begin to connect a little bit deeper with the breath. Feeling this stretch into the spine.
Beautiful, really nice. And then from here, if you want to just intensify this stretch a little bit more, you can bend into the knees. And then you can bring the soles of the feet together. It's not for everyone. You feel more of a compression in the spine. So if you feel that the spine has been strained too much here, then please don't come into this version. Or you might feel good. Beautiful, really nice. From here, what we're going to do is going to lower the legs down. You're going to stack the hands on top of each other. And then you're just going to look over to your right-hand side. Let the body just sink down onto the floor. And then just begin to breathe deeply here. So just bask in this knowledge that you've got nowhere else to go right now. It's just you and your mat, felt sense of the body just sinking down into the floor. No holding, letting all the bones sink into the floor. Beautiful. And then bring the head back to center and then just slowly turn it to the left just for a couple of breaths. This is probably my favorite type of yoga. Just lying down, taking time out, looking after myself. Beautiful. Bring the head all the way back to center. And then this time, just lift the head up. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Take an inhale, and then just come into a little baby cobra. So this is your first back bend. So you're not coming up far here. A little bit of weight into the hands. And then exhale, bring the head down. Let's do that again. Inhale into your cobra. Keep the elbows tucked by the body. Keep a nice generous bend in the elbows. And then exhale back down. Forehead touches the mat. One more like that. Inhale into your cobra. Tops of the feet. Press into the floor. Roll the shoulder blades back. And exhale, bring the head down. And then this time, tuck the toes under. Press into the hands. And push yourself up to a tabletop position. So we're back here. Foundational postures in yoga. One in all fours position we come back to time and time again. Look at your hands, spread the hands out. And then we're just going to work into the wrists a little bit. So you're going to turn the right hand all the way out to the side, and then the left hand all the way out to the side, and spread out through the fingers, and then just rock from side to side here. A little bit of movement, working through the wrists. Nice, everyone. Really beautiful. And we'll just step this up a little bit. So bring the hands back to center. And then once they're back in the center, turn the hands all the way around. So right hand, turn it out to the right. And then it's going to point, the fingers are going to point back towards the knees. And then do the same with the left. And if that means that the fingers are just pointing out to the side again, that's fine. Don't strain. And then maybe bring the weight forwards and then bring the weight back. So we're building strength and we're building flexibility into the wrists here. Nice. Check in with the jaw. Make sure that you're not gripping in the jaw. I laugh because I have to remind myself sometimes. Ooh. No pain. It should be the edge. Not too much, not too little. And then slowly bring the hands back. And we'll do one more thing before we shake the hands out. Come up onto the backs of the palms. And then the other side. And then maybe just rock the hands backwards and forwards. Have a little bend in the elbows. This is one that's a little bit more intense. Beautiful. And then slowly unravel the hands and then just give the hands a good shake out. So those kind of things, warming up through the wrists, building strength and flexibility can really help us in our overall yoga practice. Because, if we don't use the wrists appropriately, then we can sometimes get trouble there. And once we get trouble in the wrist, they're really hard to kind of recover from, especially if we're trying to do down dogs and plank position and all this kind of thing. All right, from here, tuck the toes under, so you're right up on your toes. And then what you're going to do is you're going to walk the sit bones back onto your heels. Oh, toe stand, maybe grab onto opposite elbow, so you can be here, or you can just place the hands just on the thighs. Don't worry, we won't be here for long, it's intense. Take a couple of breaths. Beautiful. Bring the hands forward and then just tap the feet out. Oh, yeah. That feels good. That feels really good.
Nice. And then from here, working on what we've been doing for the last maybe like 10 minutes, step one foot back and then step the other foot back. And then top of a plank here, take an inhale, lengthen into your plank. And try and keep the hips nice and low. Remember, we do this thing where we just kind of gauge whether our hips are in the right position. And if you bring your knee backwards and forwards and it just about goes above your mat and it's not dragging, you're in the right position. You know, if you're right up here, your bum's probably too high. Remember, you've always got this option where you drop the knees. Nice. Let's take 2 more breaths together. Nice deep inhale. Full exhale. Firing up the body here. 1 more deep inhale. And then a full exhale. Beautiful. Lift the hips and then come into downward facing dog. So split the feet so they're about hip width apart. And then look at my knees. Keep this nice generous bend in the knees on this first one. And then take your dog for a little walk. Bend into one knee, bend into the other. Walk it out. Let the head just nod down. No tension in the neck. Gaze probably just goes right in between the feet. Nice work. Really beautiful. And then eventually find some stillness. Keep the bend in the knees. Push the heels down towards the floor. So the thing we're looking for most of all here is a nice, long, straight spine. So lifting the hips and trying to find the balance point right in the middle of the body. So see if you can find a connection to your navel center and then just draw the navel back towards the spine and see if you can lift the hips a little bit more. So you kind of sometimes here and then you draw the navel back and then you find a little bit more length in the spine. Nice. We've probably been here way too long, haven't we? So look between the hands and then just walk the feet forward. Maybe come right up onto the fingertips, little baby steps, and then find yourself in a standing forward fold at the top of your mat with a really big generous bend in the knees. And then same thing we've just done in a lot of the postures. Keep it a little bit dynamic. You can move around, bend into one knee, bend into the other. Beautiful. Nice. Really nice. From here, find some stillness and then take an inhale and come up to a flat back position. Lengthen the spine and then exhale, fold. We'll do that one more time. Inhale up to a flat back and then exhale, fold in deeply. From here, press into the feet, sweep the arms high and wide and come all the way up to stand. And then as you exhale, slowly bring the hands to heart center. Nice. Beautiful. We'll just do a little bit of workshop. I say workshop, it's probably not workshop, but just to have a look at a little sequence in sun salutations. So when we do a sun salutation, we draw ourselves up to that flat spine. And we kind of think about this as, what's the best way to describe this? We're trying to lengthen the spine as much as we can. So what we see a lot of the time is we come to this position and then we're like, lengthen the spine. Now, if we're tighter in the hamstrings like I am, I'm not going to get a lot of length in my spine because I'm straining to get onto the floor. So what I do is I bring my hands up to pretty much onto my knees. And then you can see if I bring my weight into my toes, I drop my belly down, I roll my shoulder blades back, I've got a lot more length in my spine than if I'm here and I'm trying to touch the floor. So a good way to describe this is if you just watch me here, all I'm going to do, this is the same version, but lying on my back. So there we go. Got a little bend in my knees. Now, if I bring my arms up and I bring them here, they're pretty much on my shins. So that's where they need to go. You know, if you're very flexible, you might just be able to bring your hands right up towards your toes, you know, here, but that's too much of a strain for me. So my hands are on my knees or they're just on my shins. So that's giving me a really good indication of where I need to go when I invert or come to stand and do the same version of the pose. All right. So when we work through our sun salutations, just come to, you know, appropriate position. And another thing that I do, and I'll show you this nice and close, is when I draw up to my flat back, I keep this little bend in my knees. So I'm not here, this is my leg straight. Already I'm tipping backwards, little bend in my knees, and then I can really lengthen the spine out. So think about those things as we move through it, because that's a really hard posture for a lot of people. Even though it seems like, oh, it's just one small part of a sun salutation, it's something that's probably worth spending a little bit of time to get right.
All right. I'm last because you're thinking, yeah, probably not that much time, Dave. Come on. All right. So we're going to work through Salutation A. And a big part of that is where we draw up to a flat back. And some teachers will say gazing pose because the gaze just goes straight down to the floor. I just say draw up to a flat back. So with your feet about hip width apart, bring the hands to heart center. And then from here, take an inhale, sweep the arms up nice and high and wide. And then as you exhale, forward fold. Take an inhale, here we go. Come up to a flat back. So my hands are just on the edge of my calves, maybe just below my shins. And look, I've already bent my knees. I'm dropping my belly down. Exhale, forward fold. Drop the palms, step one foot back, and then step the other foot back. And then take an inhale and lengthen into your plank. As you exhale, drop the knees and then lower all the way to the floor. That's all on one long exhale. Come down nice and slowly. Press the tops of the feet into the floor. Inhale into your Cobra. And again, keep the elbows tucked by the body, and you might have this generous bend in the elbows. As you exhale, lift the hips. Come into your downward facing dog. So every part of this sequence has a breath attached. Keep breathing deeply here in your down dog. And then at the end of your next exhale, look between the hands and either step the feet up like we did first time, or just do it in one foot and then the other. So I just step first my right and my left. Inhale back to that flat back. Bring the hands up to where you think you need to bring them. Exhale, fold. And then press into the feet. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And then exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Nice. And you know, that flat back, you might come right up here. You know, this can be good. I can get loads of length in my spine. I bring my weight into my toes. And then I'm just lengthening and I'm rolling my shoulders back. This can feel good. All right, let's do another round. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold in line. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, bring the hands down. And then step first your right and then your left foot back into plank. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to lower. Inhale into your Cobra. And then exhale into your downward facing dog. So just moving a little bit quicker. Still staying connected with the breath. Deep inhale. Full exhale. One more like that. A nice deep inhale. And a full exhale. Nice. Bend the knees, hinge the hips. Come right up onto your toes. So you're already springy. And then first step the right. And then the left foot to the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold in low. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. Pause here, hands at heart center. We've mastered the flat back. Let's do one more just to really solidify all of that together. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold in deeply. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale the hands down. Step first your right and then your left foot back. Inhale to lengthen into your plank and then exhale to lower. Remember, you can drop the knees and lower or lower all in one piece. Inhale into your Cobra, maybe keeping the elbows bent by the body, or if you prefer, you can lengthen the arms. Tuck the toes under, exhale, downward facing dog. So all these little variations, so you just pick something that works for you. And bend the knees, hinge the hips up between the hands. End of your next exhale, come to the top of the mat, nice and lightly. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to fold in low. Inhale, sweep the arms up, all the way up, come to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Nice. And pause here, hands at heart center, just pressing the fingertips together. Press the thumbs right into the sternum. And then just check in with the experience. Nice. Maybe close the eyes. You know, when you close the eyes, you can feel the weight just moving around in the body. That can feel good. A little bit of swaying is nice. Beautiful. Let's just move into a little lunge sequence. So take an inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold in low. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands down. This time, just step the right foot back. Nice giant step. Drop the right knee. Press the top of the right foot into the floor. Take an inhale and then come into your low lunge. If you know that you need to pad out the back knee, just place a blanket or something appropriate underneath the back knee. Inhaling, finding length, and then exhaling into your lunge here. So inhale, you find length and the spine elongates, and then exhale, just sink into little movements, little flex maybe. You might not even move as much as me, but I just like to begin to encourage my hip flexors open. Nice. Left knee and left ankle are lined up perfectly, pressing the top of the right foot into the floor. One more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, just bring the hands down, frame the left foot. See if you can do this. Tuck the toes on the right leg and then lift the right kneecap. And really press into that right toes. And then the right hand comes into the center of your mat. Take an inhale, just sweep the left arm up. See if you can rotate from the navel center and then twist to the side. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Make sure the back leg's nice and straight. Deep inhale. And then a full exhale. Let's close it in. Left hand meets the right. And then gently step the left foot back to meet the right. So now you're at the top of a plank. And then you're going to inhale and lengthen it. Nice. Exhale. Everybody drop the knees. Lower all the way to the floor. Keep the elbows tucked nice and slowly. Inhale to lengthen and then come into your back bend. And then exhale into your downward facing dog. Nice. Beautiful. 2 breaths. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Your deepest inhale and your fullest exhale. Nice. Bend the knees, hinge the hips, not between the hands, and then end of your exhale, slowly, gently, lightly come to the top of your mat. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Remember, you can keep that bend in the knees, drop the belly down, roll the shoulder blades back. Exhale to fold in low. Inhale, sweep up the arms nice and high and wide, and then exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. And then we just keep flowing for the left side. Inhale up. Exhale, fold in low. Inhale to lengthen your spine halfway up. This is the focus pose today. Exhale, hands down. Step the left foot back. Nice giant step. Drop the left knee. Press the top of the left foot into the floor. Make sure the right knee and the ankle are lined up. So this is a nice straight line. And then inhale, sweep the arms up. Nice and slowly. Nice. And then same thing. On an inhale, you might find that the spine lengthens. And on an exhale, you might find that you sink deeper into the hips. Deep inhale. Full exhale. 2 more like that. Deep inhale. Full exhale. Final time. Deep inhale. And a full exhale. Slowly bring the hands down, frame the right foot, tuck the toes on the left, lift the left kneecap. So already we're thinking about bringing length into that left leg. Left hand into the center of your mat, engage into the left leg, lift the kneecap, and then inhale, sweep the arm up. So the right arm comes up. And then you gaze, it's up to you. Some people like to look down. I probably choose halfway, or I'm just looking at the side wall. But this back leg's not doing this. I'm lengthening, I'm lifting my kneecap, I'm rotating from the navel center. Encouraging my heart space to open. Nice. 1 more deep inhale. Full exhale, slowly close everything back in. And then the right foot is going to step back gently and slowly to meet the left. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, drop the knees. Bring the knees together and then come into a child's pose. So this is a closed knee child's pose. And then probably just bring the hands down by the feet and breathe deeply here. Palms are face up. Let everything relax down into the floor. And just let all of that great work you've done with that little bit of flow and sun salutations, let it all integrate into the body. Nice. And then slowly bring the hands forward, just by the knees or slightly in front of the knees, and then press yourself back up. Beautiful work, everyone. Really nice. And then see if you can reflect on what I was talking about at the start of the class, where you get out of your head. See if there's just fleeting moments within your practice where you're fully embodied. And when I mean fully embodied, I'm thinking about, well, you're aware of the physical body, You know, you've got to remain focused because you're moving your body in different ways. You need to remain focused on the breath because to sustain these movements in the body, you've got to be conscious of the breathing, you know, otherwise everything becomes all erratic. And then probably it's not like yoga, then it becomes like a gymnastics class, which is cool, that's all right, but we're trying to practice yoga here, you know. So the breath, we pay attention to it, the physical sensations, we pay attention to it, and then we're getting out of here and we're connecting back into here. And it's a beautiful way to kind of move, and it's a beautiful way to kind of like experience life. And maybe I'm going a bit too far here. Did he just say experience life? But I really do mean that, because we put all these limitations on ourselves where we go, oh, I can't do yoga because I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. We can all do yoga, you know, even if we have really limited ability, range of movement, one thing for another, you know, what's going on in the circumstances of our lives, you know, we can sit in a chair, we can do yoga in a chair, we can lie on the floor, we can do yoga on the floor. So I firmly believe that there's something for everybody. If we're not interested in the physical part of yoga, then we've got, you know, what we call mindfulness, and we've got pranayama, which is, you know, breath work. And these, you know, when people say, oh, I'm interested in mindfulness, yoga is mindfulness. That's exactly what we're doing now, but we're getting this amazing physical workout as well. We're building strength and vitality. That's probably a public broadcast for yoga. All right, come to stand, everyone. And then we'll just move a little bit more. We'll do some poses where a little bit more free flowing, a little bit more freestyle. So have your feet about hip width apart. Bring your right hand onto your heart center, and then inhale the left arm out. So you just do this swinging motion, and then exhale, you just swap hands. So inhale to the right, that's to the left, and exhale to the right. Inhale left, exhale right. Just swap. So we built all of this amazing energy up, and now we're just moving the energy around a little bit, you know. Any stuckness, physical, emotional, now we can get rid of it. This is the nice thing. So to change the mind, we change the energy in the body. That's what we're doing in yoga. Just work at a pace that feels good for you. Maybe you bring the arms down. You know, you might just do this kind of thing, and you just swing the hips and swing the arms. You just bring that energy into the body. Nice. Nice, everyone. Beautiful. Keep it going just for a little bit longer, whatever works for you. Just let the head move. Go with the movement. Don't hold any tension there. And you're free flowing. You're breathing. You're on this planet, and you get to spend another day in your amazing body. That's something to cheer. Nice. Inhale left, exhale right. Begin to slow it down, nice and slowly. And then if your arms are a bit higher like mine were, just bring them all the way down. Nice. And then bring the hands to heart center. Have a look at your feet. Make sure your feet are lined up with the top and the bottom of your mat, or if you stand in the middle of your mat, just the long edges, but make sure they're parallel. Breathe deeply here. Nice. Beautiful. So we'll do one more dynamic movement, but before that, let's do a balance, because we're stood here and we've worked, you know, the body to this point where hopefully we can find this kind of like synchronicity in the body. And balancing is really good for us as well, because as we get older, we lose that ability to balance. So we'll do tree pose. Remember, in tree, you've got three options. You can bring the foot here where you're right up on the toes. You can bring the foot here on your calf, or you can bring the foot right up here into the thigh. So you're like this, but avoid this one, that one, where the foot is on the knee. And if you see any yoga poses out and about, usually that person's got their foot on their knee. And I always think to myself, they can't do a lot of yoga because you're always told not to do that. So avoid this, because it throws the knee joint out and it's not good for us. So either here, or right up here. All right. So we'll do right foot first, spread out the toes on the left foot. And it's really important to find a gaze point. We've spoken about this before. It's called a dristi. So we just look at something, maybe 6 feet in front of us, and we're just going to concentrate on that thing. I'm going to look at a knot in this beautiful wooden floor. And that's what's going to keep my balance. So wherever you want to bring the foot, I'll probably do two versions. I'll do this one first. I'm going to bring my foot onto my calf. So I'll press my calf into the foot and then the foot into the calf, and then just bring your hands together. Nice. And then you want to open the hip out as much as you can. So your knee might be here at the start. See if you can open the hip out. Nice. If you wanted to grow your roots, you can always lift up, and then you can have a little sway around a little bit. And if this happens and you're like, whoa, and you fall out and you put the foot down, that's all right. You just come straight back in. So we're just challenging ourselves and we're learning how to balance. What a beautiful thing to be able to do, isn't it? It's such a nice thing. Maybe spread the arms out, maybe bring the arms up, maybe sway around a little bit more, play around, see what your body does for you. It's amazing. Nice. And then slowly, if the hands are above, bring them to heart center, and then just bring that leg down, give it a little shake, and then give your standing leg a shake out. Nice. All right, let's do the other side. So again, you might just bring the foot here, you might bring it here, and you might bring it all the way up. If you want to challenge yourself and try and bring it all the way up, do it this way. Grab hold of the knee, so you lift up the left knee, and you can grab the foot, and you just place it inside the thigh. You might have a little wobble around, and then you're pressing the foot into the thigh, you're pressing the thigh into the foot, and then you come here, and then open the hip out. Nice. Breathe deeply, maybe grow your roots, have a little sway around. Wherever you are, remember if you fall out, just come straight back in. But find your drishti point, find that gaze point where you find your balance. You're looking at one thing. Smile. All right, one more deep inhale. Full exhale. And then slowly, wherever you find yourself, release the left leg down and then give the legs a good shake out. Beautiful, everyone. That's nice work. Come to the center of your mat if you weren't there already. Bring the feet hip width apart. We're going to do this one final posture before we sit down, and it's called Paint the Aura. So this is a very nice releasing posture. So we inhale through the nose, and today we're going to exhale with a sound that sounds like this. Sha. So it's like sha, S-H-A, sha. So we inhale through the nose, and we're going to exhale sha. The only thing that I would say you need to be aware of is we're going to inhale and then exhale like this. So make sure you keep a bend in the knees. We don't want to strain the hamstrings. We don't want to strain the back. So I'll get into it, and then you can join in. But make a noise. Making a noise is good. It's releasing. It's detoxifying. And it's getting rid of this tightness that we sometimes hold in our body. All right, let's do it. Paint the aura, it's called. Inhale up. Exhale, sha. Scare the person in the room next door. Think about inhaling all of that positivity and exhale negativity. Inhale light, exhale darkness. Anything you're holding on to, let it go. Keep it going. Three more. Inhale up. Pause the breath. Hold it. And exhale, bring the hands down. Nice. You might feel a little bit lightheaded. So come and stand. Bring the palms face forward. Maybe keep the eyes open just for a few breaths. Beautiful. Let everything settle. It's a powerful posture. So you might feel a little bit of energy in the body, like a tingling in the fingers, in the toes. Nice, everyone. From here, we're going to come and sit down. So this will be the final few minutes of the class. I'm going to come a little bit more forward. Feel free to sit on something. I've got this nice block. I've got this beautiful blanket. So make sure that you're nice and comfortable. That was beautiful work, everyone. Really nice. If you've got a blanket and you want to place the blanket over you, that's a good thing to do. Make any adjustments that are necessary for you to be totally relaxed here. All right. So find some length in your spine. Nice. And then from here, once you found that length in your spine, maybe bring the thumb and the forefinger together. Beautiful. Maybe close the eyes, relax the shoulders. And just check in. See if you can just tap in with a sense of peace in the body. See if you can tap in with that sense of peace in the mind. There's a yoga text which a lot of people refer to, which is the Yoga Sutras. And the second Yoga Sutra, well, the first Yoga Sutra is "and now yoga." And now yoga. So that's all about just starting our practice. And then the second is Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So it's Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is a calming of the fluctuations of the mind. It's probably not that exactly, but it's a nice way to explain it. Yoga is a calming of the fluctuations of the mind. Let everything settle. And as you sit here at the end of the class, appreciate yourself fully. And you might not believe it, you know, like sending that kind of self-love and those affirmations in, you might think, I don't believe this stuff. But if you keep saying it to yourself, then your subconscious mind loves this stuff and it eats it up, and you will begin to identify with it. So I'll say it again, appreciate yourself fully and notice all the amazing things that you do for yourself. Nice, beautiful. From here, bring the hands to heart center. Just place the thumbs up against the sternum. This is called Anjali Mudra or Anjali Mudra. Just feel the fingertips pressing together, the thumbs pressing up against the sternum. Maybe you can repeat this after me today. Nice thing to say, something my yoga teacher says. So it's universe, put us in the places you want us to be, with the people you want us to be with, doing the things you want us to do. Thank you for the joys and the challenges of our lives. And then if it works and resonates for you, just bow your head down to your prayer. And you can say namaste if you like. Namaste. And then maybe just bring the thumbs just right onto the forehead. Then bring the thumbs onto the lips. And then bring the thumbs back onto the heart center. And then if your eyes are still closed, gently flutter your eyelids open. Beautiful. Really nice, everyone. Thank you for practicing with me today. I probably talked a lot about yoga in between all of these physical asana postures that we did today. I'm probably very biased, but I'm a firm believer that, you know, yoga is one of the most important things that we can do, especially now, especially in this day and age. So if you joined today, then congratulations on that. And if you've got any questions about yoga in general, ask away. I'm more than happy to answer all of those. and take that beautiful energy that you've created. You know, remember that as well. You did all that. No one else did it for you. You're the one that got onto your mat and committed to it. And that's hugely empowering. You know, you did it all. So you're an amazing person to be able to, you know, commit to a regular, steady practice like that. Hopefully I'll see you all again next week. I'll probably be here in the sunny city of Leicester, the Space to Breathe Collective. And this clock behind me is going to start working soon as well, because we've secured a grant money to be able to get it working again. So one day we'll have the clock going around. That'll be beautiful as well. All right. Namaste, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your comments. And I'll see you all next week. All right. Take care of yourselves. See you later.